What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? This is the Untouchable Billionaires podcast, man. I am DJ Ken Duff.
I am DJ Billionaire.
Hey, listen, man. We in a different location. We got a special guest in the building. Special location, special guest. AJ, what's up with you? How you doing?
I'm okay. How y'all doing?
Doing good. Well, shit, like I say, first of all, thank you for coming on, though. Like I said, I've been following you. We was talking off air, though. I was telling you, like, I've been following you for like a year now. Definitely, I feel like you got a lot of things to talk about. And then when we talked in DM, you said you had a story to tell, you know what I'm saying? And you also said that it was perfect timing too, though. So, like I say, I want to get into it. First of all, where you grew up at, where you from?
All right, so I'm originally from Boston, Boston, Massachusetts. I was born there. I've been in Cleveland pretty much my whole life. So,
How you end up in Cleveland?
So, I've been here. I think I want to say I was like 2 or 3 when I got here. My brother is 2 years older than me, so
shit. You ain't from Boston. You from Cleveland. You ain't
right.
You was born there. Type
I always like to throw out there. I was born there. I was raised here, but my mother and my father. I think I'll never get the full story. I will never get the full story of what exactly happened.
Up here type shit, like.
Yeah, it was my mother and my father. They're both lived in Boston, which means like my mother's family was there, my father's family was there. So I never understood the idea of bringing me and my brother to Cleveland when she had, she said she had salmonella. I'll never know. I never understood.
Not to laugh though, but it's just like that's.
I never understood the idea of bringing allowing your 2 children to be taken to a completely different state over something like that, right. And then, I guess she was supposed to get her life together and come back for us. And I'm 40. I just turned 40 this year.
As a woman, what make you want to tell your age though? Like,
I don't care.
But why is that like why women don't want to tell their age?
I never understood that. The whole like a woman never tells her age. I never understood why women are bothered by telling their age. I tell my age a lot, especially because of like working here. I'm usually the oldest person. Wherever I work at, I'm usually the oldest person. I think people forget that I'm older than them. Right. But I to this day, I don't know why women don't want to reveal their age. Right. I think that was some old school stuff. I don't really hear it too often now with women not want to say.
No, nowadays a lot of women they look. I mean, not look, but they are older, but they look younger though. So I think that kind of went out the window.
Yeah.
So like, where we at though? Like, telling people where we at.
As like where we're sitting at right now.
Yeah, where we sitting at. Yeah, where we sitting at. Like.
Okay, so we're at Original Grill.
Okay.
I manage here. I'm the bar manager and the marketing manager here. Original Grill, the restaurant portion has been open for 18 years. A lot of people never heard of it until I started working here. The bar, like this bar area that we're sitting in right now,
right.
This was his house. Like this is where he lived at.
So this was a house before it was a bar.
Right. So if you look around, you'll see hints that looks like a house.
Right.
So he tore it all down and turned it into a house. There's a bar in the basement. He used to do like after hour parties down there.
When you say he, who is he?
The owner. His name is Chris. So you'll see me tag him a lot. St. Clair's Finest. Today's his birthday, so I literally just made a post about him today.
Happy birthday, bro.
Yes, sure. He turned 48. So we just had he had a first 48 birthday party in here last night.
Okay.
But he literally tore down the whole interior of the house and then built the bar. Like this right here, he built this. So the restaurant portion, that was always there. That was there for 18 years.
Okay.
That was like an in and out type of thing.
Right.
This right here has only been open for 2 years.
Okay.
It was 2 years on Halloween. That's why a lot of people never heard of it. When I first started working here, even with booking DJs, I would say Original Grill and they'd be like, what? Some people may have been familiar with the restaurant part, but no one knew that it was a bar.
First time I got booked, I rolled past it. You know what I'm saying? Then, because I DJ'd downstairs. So, downstairs you got the benches on the side. And so where was you at before you started working here? Or did you start off as a bartender and work your way up to a manager? Or was you always a manager? Or
So in July of this upcoming year, it'll be 5 years for me. So COVID happened, right? I had never bartended the day before in my life. I never worked in a bar. But COVID happened. Now, I'm an entrepreneur, so my business got shut down. Any part-time job that I had got shut down, but I still had to pay rent.
What was your business before, once COVID?
So I have the Beauty Chronicles, which I'm a licensed advanced esthetician.
Okay.
So I've been in business with that. My daughter's about to be 9, so it'd be 10 years, in 2025.
Okay.
But it was the beauty field. We couldn't be within 6 feet of each other. So
they said.
Right, so they said.
So they said.
So going home and not having a job or an income, basically, I was thinking like, what am I going to do?
How many kids at the time?
4.
So you had 4 kids with no job, no income, like.
Yeah, COVID shut everything. Every ounce of income that I had got shut down with COVID, and not knowing, still didn't know what it would look like with stimulus checks and PPP loans, all that stuff.
At that point, nobody knew what was going to happen.
No.
Like,
so I was, after a couple weeks, I'm sitting there like, well, how am I going to make some money? Because car note was still due, rent was still due.
Right.
So
still got to take care of your kids.
right, and everybody was just sitting around drinking every day. That's all everybody was doing was drinking. So I was like, damn, I should teach myself how to bartend, make a business of it, and then, get a job at a bar and then go from there. So that's what I did. So all the money that I got, and everyone thought I was alcoholic because I literally took every single stimulus check that we got, with the exception of paying some bills. I also got a
scam? Because niggas was scamming back.
No, I actually got a legit PPP loan, but it was only for like $5,000. It was for the Beauty Chronicles, but during that time frame where we were sitting in the house, I taught myself how to be a mixologist. So then I started Quarantine Cocktails, which is a LLC.
What, you went on YouTube University?
I went on YouTube. I went on Instagram. I went on Google,
TikTok, and all that.
all of that. I really wasn't into TikTok at the time, but it's a black guy. He's I want to say he's Jamaican descent, and I forget what his name is on Instagram, but I used to watch him all the time, and he would make all these drinks. So I'm like, I could do that. So I started doing it. And I'm very active on social media. So people started buying me liquor. They started sending stuff to the house, and then they would come over and try it out. So when the world opened back up,
by this time it's the summertime.
Yeah, right.
Right.
So people were already watching me, and they were already interested. Now, where my studio was at was where Victory Bistro. Are you familiar with Victory Bistro? It's a bar. So that's a professional building. My business was upstairs, and the janitor of the building.
This is where you had Quarantine Cocktails at, or?
Yeah, this is right when I started Quarantine Cocktails.
Okay.
The janitor of that building just so happened his brother owned the building and he owned the bar. So his brother made him the manager, and since we was cool, I was like, give me a job. And he was like, you never bartended before. And I feel like at the time, I didn't look like, the average bartender. I wasn't.
Niggas, man, it's just straight. You just pouring shit, though.
What
like,
do an average bartender look like?
So when I wanted to start bartending, people were like, what you don't look like? You don't light skin, big butt. I was super skinny, too, when I first started bartending.
Right.
Brown skin. I always had blonde hair. I've been blonde for 10 years. But I just really didn't fit, like, the
look.
Yeah, the look of a bartender. So he was on edge about that. Then I never bartended before.
The owner was?
The owner didn't know nothing about it. It was the manager.
Okay.
His name is Marquise. So he's like, you don't know nothing about it. I'm like, I taught myself how to during COVID.
Right.
And I started a business. I'm like, it's not hard to bartend. All you got to do is, like, you want to double a Lunazol? You pour a double Lunazol.
Type shit.
Like, learning how to count, the counts of what a shot is and what a double is. So long story short, he was like, all right. And I was like, I got a crowd. I got a following. I always had a following on social media. So he was like, well, if you can bring a crowd in here on a Tuesday during the day, I'll give you the job. So I went on social media.
The worst possible scenario.
Worst possible scenario.
Right.
And
niggas
I went.
At work.
Right. But, everybody wasn't at work yet. It was still people were still getting money, like, the free money. So they had, I said, okay. I went on Facebook. I told everybody about it. Everyone had already been watching me make these drinks and stuff. So it was packed. My Tuesday, that first Tuesday, it was packed. I was overwhelmed. I mean, and And
you was the only bartender?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was the only bartender there. That place didn't have a crowd at the time either. But my crowd came, and I got drunk, like super drunk. I didn't know nothing about like drinking and bartending at the same time. Like doing that at your house is one thing, but
yeah, because you're comfortable.
So I made a lot of money that day, and he was like, all right, you got a job. So then, so I started off I made quarantine cocktails, started off as a bartender there. Then I became the manager. Then I became the manager of Medusa because the owner there bought Medusa. So I became the manager. So that was like a bonus. And then...
So how was you able to slide from Victory to Medusa, though? Like, what was that connection?
So I was already a manager at Victory. He had made me the manager. But I've been managing my whole life. Like, I've always been in leadership roles. I started working when I was 13. And then I started working at Foot Locker when I was 16. I was there for maybe like 12 years.
Damn, okay.
And I became a manager when I was like 18, 19.
Which Foot Locker you was at?
I was at all of them. Tower City.
I was just about to say Tower City.
Yeah,
Tower City is where I started. Tower City is where I started. But, Foot Locker had Foot Locker, Kids Foot Locker, Lady Foot Locker, Foot Action. Mm-hmm. So I worked at all of them. Randall Park Mall. I worked in East Cleveland. At the one that was... I worked at the Foot Action that was there and the Foot Locker that was there that was next to the police station. Mm-hmm. I worked in North Olmsted. I worked in Strongsville. I worked in Akron. When I went to Kent State, I worked at Chapel Hill Mall there. So I've always been in leadership roles. So you manage one place... Some people just have it like everyone isn't a leader, but if you got it, you got it. So it was easy for me to take on that role, and he needed someone that he could trust at Medusa. So I ended up, managing both places simultaneously. I didn't expect it. It taught me a lot. Mm-hmm. Taught me a lot.
What was some experience though, like experiences from Medusa? Like, what was the difference between managing a bar and managing a club?
Way faster pace. I mean, we had artists. We were booking artists there.
At Medusa.
Who was the owner at the time?
So when I started managing, the owner of Victory, his name is Terry. He was the manager, he was the owner, and then there was a guy from Columbus and a guy from Cincinnati.
No, I'm talking about Medusa at the time.
At the time that I was there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who was the owners.
Okay.
They were older. So before it was Juice and them were the owners of it. They had sold it to the owners who was there when I was there. So we were booking artists. I had to deal with radio stations, deal with liquor brands, deal with a lot of different women, deal with a lot of different promoters, DJs, like really got my foot in the door. It was like being thrown in a lion's den because although I know how to manage people, this was like new to me. And Medusa had a bad rap. I mean, like it still kind of does. So it was hard to bring a crowd in there. It was just so much shady stuff that would go on behind the scenes, and the owners weren't on the same page with each other, so they were like sabotaging each other behind each other's back. Right. It was hard for me to be in that position because I was the only manager at the time.
I was about to ask you that, like, were there other managers like on the scene with you, or
no? It was just me. And what I'll take it back. There was Brandy. She did the liquor. So I don't know if you ever been to Medusa, but I've
been there maybe like a couple times, like maybe like once or twice.
So they have like a room where like all the liquor and stuff is held, where they keep it at, where the bottle girls will go in there, grab the bottles, and they come out. So Brandy did that portion of it, and I was like the general manager. I was the manager of everything, and then she was the manager in that realm right there. Mm-hmm. She was there before me, and then I came on board, and he pretty much just had me in that role because I have already managed Victory for him.
Right.
So it was easy for me to go into that role. But being a woman in a male-dominated field, even now, being a woman in a male-dominated industry is hard. Like, you have to, you really have to be very confident, and you got to be aggressive, and you got to stand your ground on a lot of stuff. It's another reason why I do plan on leaving summer 2025. That'll be my 5 years. I had a 5-year plan, and I don't want to be in it no more.
You plan on leaving here?
Yeah.
Like here is the bar or the city?
I'm leaving the nightlife altogether. No more managing bars, no more managing clubs.
And what you thinking about stepping into next?
So I started 2190 Detox Cafe. recently I decided to stop drinking for 90 days.
No, well, first of all, like, what is 2190? Like, you know, what's the context behind it?
So 2190 it's 2190 Detox Cafe. 2190 stands for 21 days to start a habit, 90 days to start a lifestyle.
Okay.
Working in this industry is tough. The drinking, like, you drink all the time. You drink every day. Even if you're not getting drunk, it just become like you become super functional. You know, where your tolerance is super high. You drink a lot of liquor. You may not even feel the effects of it until, you know, it's time to wake up in the morning. Mm-hmm. And now it's 6 o'clock in the morning and you're still drunk from the night before. Mm-hmm. I always say to the owner here, I always feel like I have to sacrifice my sobriety for the sake of the business. Because of my vibe, and people like my energy and my high energy and my vibes and the way that I am when I'm drinking, it's like they come for that. It's entertaining to them. They come for it, but I'm not like that when I'm sober. You know, when I'm sober.
Do you feel like it's part of your job to entertain, like, while you here?
Yes.
But do you feel like that's supposed to be your job, though?
I think it's I think it's my personality. That's just naturally how I am. Mm-hmm. I don't force myself to be that way, but obviously, like, the liquor, like, brings it out more. You know, where I'm standing on top of the bars and, you know, I got signs like that. People love abuse. I've learned. Okay, I pour liquor down people's throats all the time. I make a man suck a lemon. I'll have a man necking a bottle at the bar. One guy
necking a bottle is crazy.
One guy
necking a bottle. That's just something they always wanted to do.
No, I know.
They like it.
On the ground,
for sure. They should be having them turn, but it's like, man, that's something you probably low key like, deep down inside.
Look, one guy let me take a shot of Don Julio and spit it in his mouth in front of everybody, and then went home and told his wife about it. He was like intrigued by it. They will let me do anything. You know, one guy likes for me to lick my finger, stick it in his drink, swirl it around, and, you know, give it back to him to drink. They like
raunchy, like,
and I'm a very provocative person. Like, I'm provocative, raunchy. I'm very inappropriate. I make inappropriate jokes all the time. It's just my personality. So, and when I'm drinking, it's times 10.
What's the percentage of married men that like that type of shit?
All of them. I get paid very nicely. I get tipped very well. Mm-hmm. And it's like, but when I walk out of here, when I'm in here, I'm AJ. When I walk out of here, I'm Anjani. You know, we're not doing that. I don't even drink at home.
Right.
Like, I got this big ass bar in my house. I don't drink in there at all.
Right. What you about to say, bro?
No, because you had said something about liquor. I just wanted to know, because you bartended at a few spots, it seemed like.
Yeah, I bartended started off at Victory. Then it became like a commodity, like a hot commodity, just because of my ability to bring a crowd in. So it started off at Victory. I left Victory. I was there for almost 3 years. I would never step foot back in that building again.
Why is that?
Because the owner, I feel like they took something great and they made it a horrible experience. As the manager there, I think, like I said, the whole part of being a woman in a male-dominated field, they tend to pit the women against each other, or try to pit the women against each other to maintain control. Mm-hmm. The owner tried to sexually assault. Well, he didn't try to. He did. He sexually assaulted me in the office one day when I was at work. It changed everything for me.
For sure.
And then after that, he kept trying to do it. So I literally left. I was making a lot. When I first started bartending as an entrepreneur, I think I was making like maybe I was making $40,000 a year. You know, it's tough being an entrepreneur. I started working there, and I was bringing over well over $150,000 a year. And
that's cash?
Cash.
Okay.
From managing both places. And, you know, I still had my business, but managing both places. And Quarantine Cocktails, I would get booked for parties too, but I was making a lot of money. And I walked away from it.
So why dealing with the situation at Victory, and then, like, knowing what you know as far as, like, with women in the industry, like, why not take that money and then start another venture? Like, what kept you in the industry?
I am starting another venture, but it's a dry bar versus a bar with alcohol. I don't want to be a part of it, and it's tough. Some people, you know, there's the glamorous part of it. you make a lot of money.
No, but I'm talking about like back then. Why didn't you like?
So I gave myself a 5-year goal. It still was a lot I had to learn about the business.
Oh, so you still within that 5 years, or?
Yeah, it'll be 5 years. July, this summer 2025 would be my fifth year.
Okay.
It was get in, learn the business, make the connections.
Take what you can learn from it, and then
Yes, because I don't like working for nobody.
Right.
Even though here it's a completely different experience here. I'm an entrepreneur. I don't like working for people. So I kind of want to do my own thing all the time. But when I left Victory, because of the experiences, I no longer wanted to manage anywhere. But a lot of people wanted me to come on board because they knew I could bring a crowd. So I worked at Africa. I worked at Vibes, the Vibes in Euclid right now, the one that's still open.
Right.
Indigo Lux, and they had asked me to work at B Stone too. But I like B Stone. Like I like going there and kicking it. I don't want to work at the place where
you like to frequent, like.
Because I did that with Victory, and then you can never go in there and just sit down when you work because you're always going to end up working. But I didn't want to manage any more places because I had been so scorned. I felt, when I say I walked away from everything, I lost my business, my actual business, the Beauty Chronicles that was upstairs. So much had happened when I decided to leave there that I took a hit. I went from making all of this money, just spending money like a drug dealer all the time, to not having nothing, like nothing. With not wanting to work for him anymore, I was just willing to walk away. I went to Africa. Immediately after there, I went to Africa, and it's just like everything just kind of went downhill until I came here.
Down here as far as your experience, or like as far as like the money you was making?
The money, I lost the Beauty Chronicles because someone had called State Board on the Beauty Chronicles. Now, while
you must have did something to somebody. Like why they call?
Yeah, I left Victory.
So
they
damn.
Like it's never been proven that they did it, but it all happened like. It all happened right when I decided to leave. I told them I was leaving. I planned a last pour there. Now I said it was my last pour there. I never said I was not bartending anymore, but I know that they some grimy dudes. So I didn't want to tell them where I was going before I went there. So I just made it seem like I was just leaving altogether, but it was just a play on words. I said it was my last victory lap. So when they found out, like literally the day after my last pour, it was St. Patrick's Day. It was a huge party. It was huge. You would thought it was my birthday.
What year was this?
This was 23. Was it 23? Was it 22? I can't remember. It might have been 23.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I had a last pour and it was packed. Like it was packed. Made a lot of money that night. I made a lot. I mean, people were just pinning money on me like it was my birthday. They were sad to see me go. They thought I was leaving bartending. And then the next day, Africa dropped the flyer for me going there. And then everything just kind of.
So you felt like it was like some little hating shit going on?
It was. They were threatening me. I got texts. They were the manager. And, you know, I had the owner and the manager are brothers.
Right.
The manager, we had like a love-hate relationship. We worked together.
And that's the man that gave you the job?
Yes.
Okay.
Like we were cool, but I didn't like the way he moved. I didn't, a lot of times they will always say, I built the crowd at Victory. I think everyone knows that I built that crowd at Victory. But they never wanted to give me that credit, so they would always say stuff like, I made you, because they owned the Madison, a spot called the Madison. I never went there.
Madison? Where that's at?
It was the old. It's exclusive now.
Oh,
the Madison
right there on Mayfield and shit.
It was on Mayfield.
It's another Madison. It was the old Nationality.
It's the same owner.
Oh, okay.
So he bought up a bunch of bars now, but
Okay.
it was Nationality. He bought it. He turned it into the Madison, but the Madison
Okay.
They owned the Madison before, and they would say, they had a crowd then, but y'all old now. Like your crowd ain't coming outside no more. So
Right.
this is my crowd now. And they would always say things like, we made you and we made AJ, we can make another one. So all of that stuff.
They say that to you?
Always. They always say that. So that was my love-hate relationship with him. I would be in there working and I wouldn't say nothing. Like, we would have no words. I would go like 2-3 weeks without speaking to either one of them because I just hated it. But then it's like, if I walk away, I don't have no money, you know? Plus, my kids, you know, the way that their school was set up, my 2 oldest ones, they was in private school and playing sports. So it was hard for me to work a 9 to 5.
And being a bartender, like, your schedule is flexible. Like,
and being an entrepreneur, like, everything was flexible. Everything just worked. But after the sexual assault thing, like, I really had to think about it. And then I had to think, like, what would I tell my daughters? Would I ask my daughters to still stay in an environment and still allow people to think that y'all are cool or they could do that type of thing to you? So when I decided to leave, or when they found out I was leaving, more so when they found out I was going to Africa, because they thought I was just done. When they found out I was going to Africa, they started making threats. They was going to burn this place down.
Why you feel like they start doing that?
Because I was the money. I was making the money there. It was other bartenders there, and it was cool, but I helped build that. Like, I helped hire the bartenders. I became a manager. Like, I think you kind of have to, like, follow me or, like, be one of my regulars who follow me through the whole process to kind of know what I'm talking about, to understand that there was no customers in there when I first started working. It was a couple, but, you know, nothing major. Right. And then I became the face of the business. Same thing with here. Like, I'm the face of the business. So a lot of times people will only come out if you're there, or they only want to patronize the business if you're there. So they just, you know, always say, like, you're not going to make no money anywhere else. And for a while, I wasn't. I wasn't making no money anywhere else because my customers, they got comfortable. They didn't want to come to Africa where 3 doubles is $92. Or they didn't want to come on Mayfield where all the drinks are a little bit more pricier.
I want to ask you that. Go ahead.
So when you said a double was 32.
I'm about to say, I'm glad you said that, bro. I'm glad you said that.
So what the price was at Victory for a double?
Not that.
It had to be like at least half of that or something, right? Because 32, that's outrageous for a shot.
At Africa, 3 doubles of anything is $92 because they tack on that gratuity and stuff. We didn't have, you know, Africa, you know, paints themselves as like a high-end establishment, so they tack on that 18%. But everything in that area is kind of pricier.
Same price, yeah.
Yeah, like everything is pretty pricey over there.
So let me ask you this though. So once you, no matter what you buy, right, as a consumer, no matter what you buy, gratuity is automatically tacked on to what you buy?
There, but not here. Like, not all places. Like, Victory didn't have gratuity.
Okay, so that's
we don't
not
have
all
gratuity
bars,
here.
That's just Africa.
Not some bars have it. You may not pay attention because a lot of times people don't ask for receipts.
I never knew that because, like, sometimes, like, I tell this nigga all the time, I'm like, man, dude, I don't want to go there because I don't want to pay, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to pay $15 for a fucking double. Like, I just can't see myself doing that.
And it's sad because I feel like that add up like extra $4-6.
You lose out on customers like that, though, like.
And they're like meter pours, and they're 2-ounce doubles. But I mean, technically that's called a pony shot.
Okay, so you bartend at a lot of spots. Who be having cut liquor?
I can't go into that conversation.
All right, well, you ain't gotta say no. Listen, hold on. You ain't gotta say no names, but it's real out here. These bars be really cutting that liquor, don't they?
Yeah,
it's a thing for real.
It is a thing, yeah.
Okay,
so I think what people don't realize when you're outside, when people ask like, why would a bar cut liquor? I don't think it's because they intentionally want to get you sick. It's typically because there's some bad money it's a bad money management issue going on, and they really can't afford to buy the liquor that they're supplying to you. So right now it's slow. It's slow outside right now.
It's Christmas time.
Not even just Christmas time. Like, it's slow in the nightlife. The streets are slow. It's slow. So what you think is a lot of you if you come and sit in a bar, right, and a double of Don Julio is $25, and you're watching people buy Don Julio.
You said what's $25?
Double a dime.
Ours isn't $25. I'm just giving an example.
Okay.
I'm just like throwing numbers out there.
Right.
But if you're a consumer and you come into a bar on a busy night and you see that, you know, your bill is like $80 or $100, and you see everybody buying it, and you know all the drinks here are pricey, so you're thinking like, they making some money. I tell people all the time, it's not the 90s anymore. Like, bars and clubs thrived in the 90s. Right now, it's slow. There's a lot of overhead. You got to think take Medusa, for example. I love using Medusa as an example because I remember when we had Summer Jam. Was it Summer Jam? Yeah, and I think we had Glorilla and Kodak Black there. So
At Medusa.
At Medusa, yeah.
Okay.
So I think that night we brought in $90,000 that night. So you hear 90,000.
Wait. And they was like in there, like,
Yeah.
that sound kind of low, like
Very low. But
yeah.
some people, I'm gonna break the numbers down for you too. Some people hear $90,000 and they're like, y'all got it, y'all got the bread. No. So first of all, they paid $100,000 for Kodak. You're already in a hole right there.
They're already in the
you
red.
already in the red, yeah.
You're already and they
don't even count Glow. They don't even
Glow
count
was new. She had just came out with
F&F.
yeah, she was new, but she was hot. So they paid her 15. So now you 115. Yeah.
So you 115 in the hole.
Right. Before until we pay them a deposit, and then they get the rest when they come and perform. You know, they get the rest that day or however they work it out with their managers and promoters and stuff. But so you're already 115 in the hole, right? Now Medusa has 20 to 25 security guards that night for you have to pay them. And now you have maybe like 15 bottle girls. You got like 10 bartenders. And then you got the promoter. And then you have the people working in the office by the door. It's probably about like maybe
like break down like the whole tree, like, you know what I'm saying, from the top to the bottom though.
As far as that office go, like when you first walk into Medusa, you have the person that is dealing with the sections, who did like the pre-sales, like they're taking.
But everybody got to get paid though.
Everybody has to get paid. So you got the person who did the sections. You have the hostess girls that's like taking the people to the sections. They're in the office too. You have the person working the general admission door. Maybe 2 people there giving out wristbands and stuff like that, and taking your money. The promoter is probably in there, and the promoter has a crew with him that you have to pay as well, or you pay the promoter, and he divvy up however it is for his crew. And then you have the DJ and the lights. So the light situation at Medusa, every single time the club did not own the lights. And when I say the lights, I mean like lights like those, like the flashy.
The lights? Like you said, they don't own the lights?
Right. So there was a guy who owned it, and every time those lights came on, it was $350.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, no, she talking about, I know exactly what she talking about. In the clubs, it's a light person working those lights. It's a computer, it's a booth.
Okay. So somebody got Ivy how to do was, okay,
And it's the same guy. It's a white guy, like he
white, the white dude, no, for sure.
He's at all the places now. He
tapped in.
You got to think, bro.
He tapped in,
but they wasn't really paying him. Now he liked me. He liked me a lot, and not liked me like, I don't know if he did like me romantically, but he
probably did. He a white man, you a black woman. So.
We had a really good relationship. I feel like I'm my likable personality is what got me by in a lot of situations. But a lot of times if I was there, he wouldn't charge me, or he would be like, AJ, they still haven't paid me. I mean, they owe this man a lot of money. They wasn't paying him, and I was like,
he did his shit though. If it's the same dude we talking about, he work at Ivy.
Yeah,
man, I'm talking about, he got the iPad, he be jugging, he be pressing buttons. Yeah,
he even be dancing and everything.
No, for real, bro. No, he a whole show.
I don't know. So I haven't been to Ivy to see if that's, but typically it was because I know he was doing a lot of the downtown club, and he's really good. I mean, he's good at what he does.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, no, he's
really
expert,
good.
For sure.
But you had to pay him too. So you think on a night like that night, where you have to pay and you have to pay me, and then you have to pay the person and the other girl, the liquor manager, you know, the person who's doing that, and then whoever's back there with her, because she has a team back there with her. You're deeply in the negative. There's no money. There's no money to be spent. So then when you come to like a smaller setting, a bar, when you think about everyone is in here spending money, so let's just say you make $5,000. Okay, but you got to pay your bartenders.
Who make $5,000?
I'm just giving an example, like in general, like a regular bar, like bar 1, 2, 3. Right. If it's a night where you made $5,000, like it's cool, it's $5,000, right? But you got to pay your bartenders, you got to pay your security, you got to pay your DJ, you got to pay your cooks. You have to buy the liquor, you got to buy the food, you got to buy the cups, the napkins, all of that stuff. By the time you spend all of that. Like, what's left? So now, when I say all of that to say, you probably don't got no money to go buy no liquor.
Ooh, so
now you cutting liquor.
So that's why you start cutting. Yeah, okay.
Damn. Okay. So what do they cut it with? Like, okay, like say I order some Patron. How do they cut the liquor? Like, how that work?
I don't know. The one thing that I've always heard, I can't tell you how they cut liquor because we don't cut liquor. I never worked anywhere that cut liquor.
Yeah, pop your shit. There you go.
We don't. I like opening the bottles in front of y'all. Like, you see this?
Right.
But even though, you know, you got the places that, you know, who has meters where they use the seal with the hair blow dryer looking thing. But they cut it with, so think of Hennessy. You run out of Hennessy. So instead of it being Hennessy, they'll put like E&J in the bottle or something that tastes similar.
Cause
that's like, the oldest trick in the book. E&J and Hennessy. That's the oldest trick in the book.
It seemed like after that first shot, once it hit your tongue, it all tastes the same at that point, right?
Not if you're a professional drinker.
For sure.
A lot of times, because you know, no, go ahead. I'm going to let you finish.
Because I was told that they cut it with like something like called well liquor or something like that.
Yeah, so well liquor is like what you see right in front of you. Well liquor is, so someone comes in and they want a regular Long Island. Or you're promoting $5 margaritas. Typically, you're using well liquor. Now, most people don't like well liquor because it's cheap as hell. But this isn't a secret. We all know about well liquor. But if you're buying 1942 and you're expecting it to be 1942, and you're drinking well liquor, which is gonna get you messed up really fast, then you know. But most people can tell. If you drink Don Julio Blanco all the time, you know what Don Julio Blanco tastes like.
Oh, for sure.
Now, sometimes bars get accused of cutting, and they're not cutting. But they all have their own ways of cutting liquor. Some people say they put water in it. They say all types of stuff.
No, you can tell some little bit of water versus some fake shit. All right, have you ever been out like, cause you a bartender and you like caught somebody trying to serve you some cut liquor, and you be like you had to go off on them type shit?
That's a good question, bro.
Cause you know liquor, like you feel what I'm saying?
So I won't say I caught them serve, but I knew when I had it. I went to one place in particular, and
you called it out once you.
So all I had, we had went there to get some food. I was with my boyfriend at the time, and we only went to get food. But while we were waiting on the food, we got a double. I mean, no, we got a single, but it was at a white bar. You know, white bars they really gonna load you up with the drinks.
You know, for sure.
So they poured a heavy single, so we just sat there and sipped it. We didn't have nothing to drink. Nowhere else. We just sat there and sipped on this drink until it was time to go. Both of us drove separately. We barely made it home. Struggled. And
a white bar cut you? I thought that was only a black thing. I ain't know. White. Man, that's crazy.
Black bars catch all the heat from stuff that white bars been doing for an eternity.
Years though, like yeah.
Black bars, you know, when it comes to black businesses, black people be the first ones to put black businesses on blast.
For sure.
White bars, they just don't. I mean, maybe they do. I don't know, but it is not just black bars that cut liquor. It's like, you know, originally before there were even black owners, there were bars. You know, it's liquor.
That's a fact.
So you had to learn from somewhere.
No, that's a fact though, for sure.
And you gotta think about some white bars, like they're pretty smart about the way they do things. So you notice have you ever gone in some bars where they don't take credit cards and they only take cash and
yeah.
It's like a cashless system.
I stay in Euclid. That's every bar around Euclid. They only take cash.
Yeah, and you hate it, but then you have to think from an owner standpoint, like why are they doing it and we're not? And we have, you know, credit cards and a lot of stuff. It's very pricey to have a POS system. The taxes that come out of it, the money that you have to pay them, like we have Toast, the money that you have to pay them off top, you know, like someone else basically controls your money. Because
it costs to have those machines.
Yeah. So if I take $200 from you today, I don't get that money today. I have to wait. But, you know, if it was cash system only, you know, and then, you know, people, you know, manipulate their taxes and things of that nature.
Right.
So, yeah, cutting liquor is not just a black bar thing. But I do think that a lot of people get accused of cutting liquor who don't cut liquor. It's just that sometimes that bottle been sitting on that shelf for a minute and they got a spout in it, and now the air is in it and it tastes nasty. As compared to you going to a liquor store right now and opening up a fresh bottle.
It do be hitting different. With you being a bartender, I'm sorry if I keep saying it like that. Do you prefer cash tips or credit cards? Well,
don't matter to me because I'm gonna get it all at the end of the night. So credit cards, if a bartender gets tipped on a credit card, we cash you out. So when my bartenders are working and they got $50 credit card tips, they're walking out of here with that $50 credit. But not all bars are like that. Only some bars are like that.
And okay, so you said y'all get paid that night, but like as me as a consumer, do it come out my account that night, or because sometimes it be like a couple days later?
No, the tip never comes out. I don't know why that's like that, but because me being a consumer too, I notice I'll go somewhere and the initial transaction comes out, but that tip takes days to come out.
Yes,
and I don't know what that's all about.
Sometimes my shit be due. I be like, man, what
yeah,
the fuck?
and that's why I be just rather do cash.
You know, I tip, bro. I be the tip motherfucker $10, bro. Like,
it's not the business, it's the bank. Like, it's however the bank and whoever the owner of the POS system is. So like Original Grill, if you come and you tip me $10 today and it don't come out 3 days later, that has nothing to do with Original Grill. We put it through. It's the POS system and the company and the bank that controls that.
So with that being said, do you get people being more generous with their cash in the tip, or like them writing it in, and like which one have you seen the biggest tip on, cash or card?
It really depends on the person. I get tipped very well with cash. I mean, some people will listen during COVID. Oh my God, it was crazy during COVID
because that free money was going on.
I mean, they would come in and buy a Red Bull with $100 bill and be like, "Keep the change."
Straight up.
Yeah, so I had to learn. Like, I think, you know, people appreciate the way that I bartend, and I'm really down to earth, real like friendly and stuff like that. So when I first started bartending, I didn't realize. Well, I had to be taught the whole you pay for convenience, right? So my regulars, who've been my regulars, they paid for convenience. So if you come in and you're tipping me 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 and up, then I know that when you walk through that door, you're not waiting. If it's a full crowd in here and I see you walk through the door, you would never wait. Like, as soon I'm going to see you, and I might be doing something at the minute. I'm going to finish doing what I'm doing. But in the process of me helping somebody else, I'm already pouring yours. Or if I know you like to sit here, as soon as you sit here, your drink is already sitting there waiting for you.
Right.
You don't even have to say it, unless you're telling me that you're drinking something different today. But a regular drink's the same thing all the time. But you tip me so well. You tip me almost like several days out the week, every month, every year, that you pay for convenience. And a lot of people, like just regular people who aren't regulars, don't understand that. You know, they come in, they're like, well, how he just walk in and he get help before me? When I was working at Victory, somebody walked in. The first time somebody did it to me, like they walked up to me, and I didn't know who this person was. It was a guy, and he handed me a $100 bill. And I'm like, what's this for? He's like, that's your tip. But I didn't ring you out yet. He was like, when you see me, anytime you see me come to the bar, I don't want to wait. And I was like, okay.
Type shit. No.
And he was like, I'm going to still tip you later, but this is, anytime you ever see me in any bar that you ever work at, I want you to make sure.
Yeah, off top.
That's damn near like to skip the line fee for real.
No, for sure.
And
That's
so
exactly what it is, bro.
He ended up tipping me $100 more, like at the end. He tipped me $100, and then he tipped me $100 to start with. He tipped me $100 at the end. And every time he came up to the bar to buy a drink, he tipped me.
But let's take it back, because you said the dry bar, but you ain't really never get into it. 2190 or something you said, right?
Oh yeah, dry bar. So
'cause what is a dry bar?
Dry bar is a bar that don't sell alcohol.
But what will make people want to come to something like that?
That's the question that everyone asks.
I'm about to say that was my
They
question.
be like, what's the point? Okay, but you're thinking from a perspective of someone who drinks and enjoys drinking. Not saying you're an alcoholic, but then you have to think about people who are alcoholics, who still like to come to the bar but can't drink. You got people who are like, think of AA meetings, think of NA meetings,
It's the
narcotics.
illusion, like it's the
Yeah.
way that
Think of people who don't drink at all. Think of pregnant people. Think about people on probation. Think about people who keep getting DUIs. Sometimes being in a setting is tempting enough. You know, you're not going to sit an alcoholic in a bar around nothing but alcohol. They're going to want to drink. But there's a market for this. And obviously, if you're not that person, then it doesn't appeal to you. But it's not
do
just.
Do you have a degree in marketing or like something relative to that, or
No, I'm just creative.
you got a mind for it? Okay.
I'm just really creative, and I try. I feel like if I'm gonna be on social media, I might as well use it to my advantage.
Do something.
I feel like everything I do is marketing, and it's not even just making a flyer. So even the idea of me not drinking for 90 days. I walked people down that whole process with me. They knew when I stopped drinking. They knew my side effects, the withdrawal symptoms I was going through. They knew that I was working in a bar every day. They knew when it was day 10, day 30. I walked everybody through the process, but I walked them through the process because I know that I was going to get to the point where I was going to talk about 2190.
Right, but wait, before we get into that, like finish talking about the dry bar, and then we'll get into
So what 2190 is not just a dry bar. It's not just a bar where you come and get mocktails from. It also
said mocktails.
Mocktails. Right? Okay. So there's actually like spirits that are 0 proof. Right. It's and I showed it a lot throughout that 90 days I wasn't drinking. I would show bottles of alcohol-free wine, and I would show bottles of tequila, 0 proof tequila or 0 proof rum, and then I would mix drinks up. I would make my customers in here drink it too, just so they could see. It
still tastes like alcohol, or like how did? Okay.
Yeah, the wine tastes more like wine than the alcohol tastes like alcohol, but they put stuff in it to kind of give like that burn. People would compare it to cinnamon water. They would be like, AJ, like, what are you doing? Why are you drinking this?
Water? I don't even know what cinnamon water tastes like.
It's not. That's what they would compare it to.
It burned though, like
it has that little kick at the end, like like drinking pepper, like a cup of paprika or something like that. But they're like, why are you drinking this? Because I'm really just preparing y'all for what I'm getting ready to do. So anyhow, it's the business hours is 8 to 7. So you can come in and get coffee before you go to work. Or after you work out, you can come in and get a smoothie. If you're detoxing, you can come in and get fresh pressed juices, or you can get a wheatgrass shot or a ginger shot. It's basically like a wellness cafe. It's not necessarily just a bar. So yes, when you come in, will there be a bar setting? Yes. Okay, so the dry bar, it's not just a bar. It does have a bar setup in it. What I'm envisioning in my head, it does still have a bar setup, but then also has like a loungy area, almost like a coffee house. Okay. You don't just have to get non-alcoholic drinks there. But there's 3 that I know of in the Cleveland area, and they're busy all the time with people who don't drink. There's like I said, it's a target. I mean, it's a market out there for it, but people don't realize it because, we like drinking. But it really is something I feel like that's on the rise.
And like you said, a lot of times, like people just like the aesthetic. Like people like sitting at the bar, talking to the bartender, but the alcohol that come with it. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of the times, like it just be like what come with it for real.
Yeah.
Like,
and there's a thing called the placebo effect. So the first time I went to a dry bar, it was on it's here on like West 29th. I went with one of my friends who bartends too, and she just wasn't drinking at the time either. So we went in there and we had like 2-3 drinks. By the end of it, we were giddy, like we were drinking, but we weren't, and we knew we weren't. But it just kind of puts you in the mindset of drinking. You still have the same glass. It still tastes like a cocktail. It's just no alcohol in it.
Right.
So
you feel like a lot of times it's like mind over like matter.
It's definitely mind over matter. It's definitely mind over matter. Because you can still have a good time, but a lot of people feel like you can't have a good time without alcohol. I just worked 90 days. I mean, I went 90 days without drinking and managing a bar and bartending. And still going out to parties and events and things of that nature without drinking. Sometimes it was hard.
So let's get into that though. Like you fresh off 90 days. No alcohol. Your birthday was in September, right?
Yep, September 13th.
And then your 90 days was obviously December 13th. First of all, what prompted you to do that? And then how did you sustain that? By working in the bar, you around people that drink and...
There's not one single reason why I did it. There's so many reasons why I stopped drinking, why I wanted to do it. One, I got tired. Like, I tell people all the time, like, y'all ain't tired of drinking yet? When I be talking to, like, my bartenders or people who are regulars or my friends, whatever the case may be, when you work in a bar, especially when you manage it, and a lot of my bartender peers will agree with this, when you first start, it's fun. Like, it's fun. It's like a high, right? You're meeting people, you're getting paid to drink, you're drinking, it's a good time, it's fun. But then, and that's when you're just bartending like 1 or 2 days a week. now imagine when you manage and you're in there every day.
Right.
So after the first 2 years was fun.
And then just for the record though, how often are you in here? Like
I'm here Tuesday through Saturday.
Okay. So 5 days out the week.
Yep. And
Okay.
sometimes, like when I was other places, before I decided to be the manager here, I was still kind of like hopping around. So I was, at one point in time, I was bartending here, Africa, Indigo, Lux, and Vibes at the same time.
Okay.
But I was just picking up a day here or there. Horrible. I was making no money. I wasn't making anything. I think I was walking out of there with like, I was just a bartender. I wasn't a manager. And I might have been walking out of there with maybe $20, one time $13. Be there for 6 hours. Yeah. I wasn't making no money.
Like $20 like per bar type shit. Like
yeah, it was bad. Before I decided to come here and kind of take on this role here and build the crowd here, I wasn't making. I went from making all this money.
So you might say you'd have been through the highs and the lows. Of
yeah,
this shit,
I went from making all this money during COVID and thinking it's always going to be like that. I had to humble myself a little bit too because I went around. You know, I knew that I built a crowd at Victory. They didn't think I could do it again. I knew I could do it again, but I think I had to find the right spot. The other spots weren't. It just weren't. My customers didn't want to come to them for whatever reason. They had their reasons for all of them. I didn't leave on bad terms. Only one of them I left on bad terms with. And that's just because I just didn't like them as people.
Right.
But
Yeah, we had talked about it.
yeah. Yeah. So when I got here, everything started to change. It was hard. It was tough here at first too. When I first started working here, like it would be like this amount of people in here on a Saturday night, and I was probably leaving same $13 here, $60 here, and then I just had to keep faith that they would come, and they didn't want to come because it was on St. Clair. Right. I didn't even want to come because it was like my friend her cousin owns this, and she kept wanting me to come here. She kept telling him like, I got somebody that could build your crowd for you. He was over it. He had been done wrong by a couple of bartenders or managers that he had, so he was over the idea. He didn't want nobody to come in. I didn't want to come here because I'm like, it's St. Clair. Even though I went to Glenville and I grew up on 105, I just wasn't a fan of it. And then right. I'm like, man. I just decided to, she asked me to work a party. She asked me to work a nursing party. I worked a nursing party that came in here, and I was like, no, I'm still not going to do it. And then quarantine cocktails, I also do, like, consultations where, like, I come in and, like, help you grow your business. Right. I had packages that you could buy. So he bought a 5-week package for me for like, I think it was, like, $2,000. I can't remember how much it was, but I think it was $2,000. I gave it to him for $1,500. After 5 weeks of being here, I was like, I like it. I like it. I think it has potential. So I decided to just stay on and come on as a bartender. I didn't want to be a manager yet,
right? Because
I still was traumatized from Victory. But then I eventually decided to be a manager, and then it's still like it's like a uphill thing. More people are familiar with it. I've gotten more DJs and stuff to come in here, so.
So about your 90-day journey though, like what made you? Well, you say you don't know what made you want to do it though, but like talk about your journey, going through that, being around. Obviously you drinking.
Oh yeah,
like being in that life, like.
So I know I wanted to stop. Well, one of the reasons I wanted to stop, I was just tired of drinking. I was tired of waking up on a Wednesday drunk. I still had to go home and be a mother. Like I still got to get the kids to school. I still got to go. Clients for my business. I still had to do my day-to-day stuff.
That's heavy, man. Like on a random Tuesday, Wednesday type shit. You still gotta get up and do your motherly duties type shit.
Yes, and I always chose to bartend on Tuesdays because that's where I started out at, and I built that Tuesday crowd up. Even here, like people, I still have a steady Tuesday crowd, so I always want to stick with it. But it's like, damn, I'm drunk on Tuesday. Then when I started bartending, I was like 130 pounds.
Okay.
And
this is back in 2020, I'm assuming, or
2020, I was 130 pounds. That was the biggest I'd ever been in my life. I was skinny. I've been skinny my whole life. I've been like.
You was 130 pounds and you had 4 kids?
Yeah, I was just skinny.
In 2020,
I had 4 kids.
But no, right. But I'm saying you 40 now, so that was 40, so you 36. You 130 pounds? Okay.
I just put up a before and after like the other
So
day.
wait, so if you was 130, so okay, where did the weight change or weight shift come in at?
Liquor.
Okay, that's
liquor
Bar
and food.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of first at first when I first started gaining weight, it was cool because I was skinny. Like I had just had when I came back when I started bartending, I just had
I wanted to gain some weight.
I wanted to, but I was a little bit bigger, but then I had lost weight because I had surgery. I got my tube tied, and I got really sick with that. I ended up with pneumonia and a collapsed lung. So I was super frail when I started bartending. I was skinny, no shape at all. So that's why I was like, I wasn't ideally, what they kind of wanted behind the bar, especially compared to what they already had behind the bar. Everybody was all curvy and
type shit. Yeah.
And I was just like this little
BBL
straw.
jersey.
I was this straw coming in there. I think that was also refreshing for people too. Like it was something different. Mm-hmm. But you start drinking, right? It's like 100 and anywhere from 110 to like 150 calories per shot of liquor, right? Now, on average, a woman is supposed to consume 1,500 calories a day, and men 2,500 calories a day. I've already consumed all that, all right? Now you're drinking, and you're taking shot after shot after shot after shot after shot, and then you have mixed drinks.
So you start bartending, you dove right into it, though. Like
yeah. And then when I first started gaining weight, it was cool, because now I got a butt now. My thighs is filling out. Like, I'm like, okay, it was cool. And then
that shit got out of hand a little bit.
Man, what? Like,
I know that I feel your pain. I went through the same thing though, literally.
Yeah,
like,
man, you gained so like.
But I say I'm fat as fuck right now. Shit.
As soon as you get some weight, you be like, okay, cool. Because when you skinny all your life, you don't think you can gain weight. You feel what I'm saying? Or that amount of weight. So when you do, you're like, oh, I like it. Then you look in the mirror again, you be like, whoa, wait a minute, that shit got out of hand. Like
it got way out of hand. I went from 130 to 220. Before I stopped drinking, I was 220. The summer, I was looking at my pictures like...
So through the 4 years, you didn't gain 100 and plus, like...
Yeah, I gained all that weight. And
I believe it, too. That's crazy.
Listen, I post pictures all the time, and I just be like, man, how did I get here? And people, I got friends still from middle school, high school, and they would come in, they be like... When did you start? When did you get thick? Like, when did you get a butt? When did you do all this? I'm like, man, bartending. So when I stopped drinking, I lost 20 pounds. Like, I haven't gone back to the gym. I also changed the way that I ate, too. I got a whole page dedicated to that. So I went into clean eating, which is what I still do now. Mm-hmm. I started that first in the summer, and then I stopped drinking. I knew I was going to stop after my 40th birthday. It made no sense to stop before it. I knew I was going to get plaster for my birthday. It was 40.
Sure. Yeah.
But
that makes sense, though.
But then when I stopped drinking, I lost all that weight. So I didn't want to be big mama no more. So that's one reason why I wanted to stop. I didn't want to be drunk anymore. I feel like I made horrible decisions when I was, I made horrible decisions when I was drinking. I was in a... Can
you give us like a little story or like something?
I stayed in a toxic relationship. Like it was toxic and it should have ended.
But do you feel like it was alcohol fueled?
I think deciding to stay, even some of the things that I did, like...
because alcohol, I got to tell people, man, once you get that in your system, it give you that fucking factor, bro. Like, you don't care about certain things. Like, for real, like, you can go out, scratch your car. That night, you going to be like, oh, I ain't tripping. But when you wake up and you sober, you going to be like, what the fuck?
Bro, that was me the other night, bro. That was me
For sure, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I understand.
That was me the other night, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, you do get that. And it's like, I'm like, I was just ashamed of some of the things that I did for the sake of the relationship. And I had to, like...
So, you was the problem?
I wasn't the problem.
Okay.
I allowed the problem to keep happening.
Okay.
Like just start drinking and be like, whatever. You believe the shit. No, it's not true. But when I stopped drinking, I got so much mental clarity. That pretty it officially became over. Like every time you're in a relationship and it starts to end, or you decide to break up, there's still that stage where even though you say y'all are over, like you still kind of dip back.
I still made the back. I still...
It's not wise.
It's still lingering.
Yeah, like, it's not wise to start talking to somebody else because you know that you still got feelings for this person. You still love this person. You still have feelings regardless of what they did or what transpired between y'all. You still have those feelings. And I feel like the alcohol allowed me to accept a lot of things that I knew I shouldn't have accepted. And so when I stopped drinking, I'm just like, man, what's wrong with you? Like, why would you?
So like, given now that you done did your 90 days, right? What's the difference between like from then until now? Like, what's most noticeable about yourself?
One, I lost weight. Two, quality of sleep is way better. I noticed a lot of different changes happens with your body. I would say the first 30 days of not drinking was hard, and not hard because I wanted to drink, because I didn't want to drink, but all the withdrawal symptoms that you.
I was about to say, you feel like you went through withdrawals.
Yeah, no, I didn't go through it like people
not
that
like
really have.
Though, but like
no, like
damn.
people, no, even people with real alcoholism. I didn't go through it like that, where they hallucinate a lot, and they have to be checked into a inpatient or outpatient clinic.
Yeah, type shit. Yeah.
I didn't have to do that, but the headaches was the worst of it. The headaches, the mood swings. I became real irritable, real mean, real angry all the time. Kind of like nonchalant at one point. There was no emotion. People would just be talking to me. I'd just be like, the first couple weeks of not drinking, I lost all my customers, all my regulars. Nobody was coming to this bar. The last time we had a crowd was my birthday. Like a big crowd was my birthday. Everyone knew that I stopped drinking. I made it, I talked about it. At first, everybody didn't know. They would come in the bar and they would try to drink with me.
Did they not know, or did they like not take you serious though? Like,
some didn't take me serious. Some didn't know.
Okay.
But I went from, I started making a lot less money. I tell you that much. The business took a hit. Because being the face of the business, people were just like, if you're not drinking, I'm not coming. And they didn't. They did not come. Now, when I had this, and everything I feel like was a social experiment, because I planned on coming back drinking, announcing I was coming back drinking 90 days later to see if the crowd would come back. And that was Friday, and they did. Friday the 13th was the last day I drank. Friday the 13th was the first day I started drinking again. Right. And I don't know if you saw that picture of them shots that was all lined up on the bar on Friday.
I seen you had a tower though. Yeah, hell yeah.
That was like the Great Wall of China. Now, people were just in and out all day. Just the idea of me drinking again was like, yeah, I'm gonna come in there. So they've been in here all weekend long, like, trying to get me trying to bring that drunk AJ out. Now, I never got drunk because I still had other stuff to do, but I was lit. It didn't take much. Right. I was on top of the bar. I was pouring liquor. The MD. Mad Dog 2020 was getting poured in a lot of people's mouths yesterday.
Man, I walked on my.
No, let's take it back, because you said the quality of sleep at the time. What was different? What you noticed? Like, was it your dreams was more vivid? Like, what was it?
So when you drink alcohol, I don't know if you notice, if you go out, let's say you're out and you're drinking a lot that night, you wake up a lot, you don't sleep good, you wake up a lot to use the bathroom. So I got sleep apnea. So my sleep apnea got real bad, and I would always have to wake up and drink water.
You had that before
I got sleep apnea when I was pregnant with my youngest daughter.
Okay.
I developed sleep apnea, and I didn't know I did. I didn't know I had it until a couple years ago when I got the sleep test done. And I didn't even know I had it to get the sleep test done. Like I was just going over symptoms at the hospital, and it's like, oh, you probably got sleep apnea. That was another reason why I wanted to stop drinking too, because I kept getting sick. Alcohol kills your immune system. And I just kept getting sick, and I was thinking that I had like some real health issues going on. And they were testing me for everything under the sun, and nothing was wrong. And I just started common denominator, alcohol. And once I eliminated that, I didn't have those issues no more. So when it comes to the quality of sleep, I don't wake up throughout the night anymore. I don't have to wake up and drink water because my throat is dry. I'm not sweating in the middle of the night. My hair is not getting all messed up. I sleep great. I actually look forward to going to sleep. It's like the highlight of my day. I love it so much now. And you got to be willing to, you got to be ready to really recognize the changes that's going on in your body. Because I don't smoke. I don't smoke at all. I don't do.
You never smoked at all, period, in your life?
I tried to smoke when I was 30, and that's when I found out I had asthma. I had an asthma attack for 2 days. Got into a car accident.
Then it's like the asthma attack.
I never wanted to smoke. My brother, rest in peace, he smoked when we were kids. I had found a black and mild in his pocket, right? I thought it was drug. I thought it was like hardcore. I don't know what it was. I just found a black and mild, and
But you picked it up and started smoking.
No, so what happened? I was raised in a very abusive, toxic environment. So when I found it, I thought it was real drugs. I don't know why. I never forgave myself to this day for this. I told my aunt, who I hated. I hated her. I don't even know why I told on my brother. I don't know. Maybe sipping. I don't know why I told to this day. But I told because I thought it was something really bad. I'm thinking like it's crack or something. And they made him. They took the black and mild and they made him eat the whole thing, chew it up, swallow it, everything. And I had to sit and watch him do it. And
bro, didn't you say your mama used to do the same shit?
They made you smoke it.
They'll make you. Okay, yeah.
No, he had to eat it. He had to like literally eat it, and so I never wanted to. Like I never ever wanted to smoke from there. Like I was just scared of the experience, and I felt bad about my brother. And then he continued to smoke. That didn't faze him. Like he still grew up and smoked, but smoking never appealed to me. But I wanted to try it one day. I was with my friends. It was like Halloween, and I was like, "They was like, you gonna smoke today?" I'm like, "Sure." I smoked. I took like one hit puff, whatever y'all call it, and it went down the wrong pipe. And I was coughing and choking. Then I got high as fuck. I was like stuck. I hated the feeling.
This is weed you was smoking?
Huh?
This is weed?
Yeah, it was weed.
Okay.
And I was super.
Because it ain't crack.
because she went from the mild to the. She was like, I had the mild, and then I'm like.
Well, no. So the mild was with my brother. I didn't know what that was at the time. And now, fast forward to me being 30 years old.
Type shit, yeah.
I decided to smoke for the first time. And the burning in my chest never went away. It actually continued to get worse. And I started coughing and wheezing, and this went on for 2 days. And then I came out of my driveway, and I got into a car accident, like backed into somebody.
And you 30 years old at this point.
I went to the hospital to find out what was wrong, because I just couldn't stop sneezing. I mean, not sneezing. I'm about to sneeze right now. I couldn't stop coughing.
Bless you.
Thank you. So I went to the hospital, and they was like, you have an asthma attack. I'm like, when did I get asthma? I'm 30 years old. I've never had asthma before. They're like, you're having an asthma attack. Like, they had to hook me up to the machines, give me oxygen and all that stuff. And
what did that feel like? Like, did you know you was having that, or like your body, you ain't even feel it? Like,
I knew something was happening. I was in. My body was being tormented from the minute I smoked that weed until they gave me that breathing machine 2 days later. I was out of breath. I was coughing. I was wheezing. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't walk upstairs. I felt like I was dying. Like, by the time day 2 came around, I felt like I was dying. After I crashed the car a little bit, I went to the hospital.
So, question: did you already have asthma, or like
I never knew I had asthma?
Oh, okay, so you already had.
But when I was in the hospital, they were like, "So you don't have asthma?" No one ever told me I had asthma. They're like, you never been in a situation where this happened, and then it triggered a memory to come for when I first met my mother.
One thing about a doctor, they're gonna ask you dumb ass shit. They're gonna ask you stupid ass questions.
They got to though, cause you.
But you know
what? I thought it was dumb, but it helped because it triggered a memory. When I met my mother for the first time, she had came to Cleveland. I think they had a court case. She ended up losing custody of us, but during this time that she was there, I remember she pulled out. Now it was just me and my brother. I didn't know that she had got married and had 2 other kids. Okay. So when she came here and she pulled out this photo, first she came with some kids, and I was like, oh. Like I was a little kid, but she came with these 2 other kids, and then she pulled out this photo album. And this photo album, I was just looking at her husband, and I'm looking like, y'all out here living this magnificent life in California. Me and my brother is in Cleveland getting the shit beat out of us every day. And she was I remember her smoking a cigarette, and I remember it bothering me, but I was still too like upset looking at these pictures. And I remember going.
And at this point, like you a woman, like you a whole grown.
I'm a woman remembering this time when I was a kid when the doctor asked.
Okay, yeah.
About me having asthma, or if I had ever been triggered by smoke before, and then I remember at that time she was smoking a cigarette when I was looking. Now I thought, and I woke up in the hospital, and I never knew why I ended up in the hospital. I thought I was so upset that. From looking at the pictures that, I don't know, I got sick and went to hospital. But now I'm thinking like, oh, it's a smoke. Maybe I did have asthma this whole time. She was smoking, and that was another reason I never wanted to smoke either. Like that memory never leaves my head. It was traumatizing. I'm thinking my mother is about to come to Cleveland and rescue me and my brother from this situation that we're living in. And no, you came to tell me that you moved from Boston, California, you got married, you had these kids, y'all are happy, and we just are being like tortured every day here. So, I guess like that's like a memory that you kind of like push to like the farthest corners of your mind, but then somebody asks a question and then you boom think of it. So I guess I had asthma my whole life. I had an asthma attack yesterday here at the bar. Nobody knew it.
I'm about to say, yeah.
Do you got an inhaler or anything?
Yes, but asthma attacks are so far few and in between for me that I don't really carry them, and I didn't expect to have. I had one last night here.
Let's get into it. Like, what happened last night, man? What happened last night?
Hold on, wait. Let's go back because before y'all, just keep that right there, though. All right. How many siblings do you have?
I have 2. Well, okay. Well, there's a lot to unpack with that. I have a step brother, and then I have a brother and a sister that's still alive, and I have a brother that's dead.
Okay, so
but I was only close with the one that died.
Okay, so because you mentioned your parents. Okay, so I'm guessing your brother who passed away, that's your brother through your mom
and my dad.
Okay, so just y'all two was the only ones. Okay, so do you still have that anger towards your mom now? Because I was gonna ask like
I have an anger towards both of them, and I think they know it. It's not a thing; they know it.
Do they live here or they still live out of town?
They both live in Boston.
Do you ever see yourself like trying to mend that? Well, it's not up to you to mend because they the adults, I feel like. But do you see yourself ever fixing that relationship or trying to?
I tried to already.
Oh, okay.
I allowed my mother. I actually asked her to come and live here with me when I the house that I live in now. We found out after I moved in that it used to be like a crack house. And people had died there. Like, they died from overdose. And I was scared to have the kids there.
Right.
2 weeks of me living in this house, like 6 police cars pull up deep, coming out, guns drawn and everything. And I'm like, what is going on? And they're asking all these questions about who lives here and is there any men who live there? And I'm like, it's just me and my son. And that's when I found out that this house was like a crack house in Euclid. And so my kids were younger at the time because I've been living there for like 6 years. So me being scared, I did.
So you have been living there 6 years before the police pulled up?
I've been living there 6 years.
Oh,
now.
Like
I have been living there for 2 weeks when the police pulled up.
Okay.
But around that time, that's when I was still trying to have a relationship with my mother. So I called her and I asked her to come and live with me. So this was like, I never lived with my mother. I never lived with my father before either. I don't know what it's like to be raised by a parent. So this was my opportunity, right? Like, she just got divorced. She doesn't work because she has some health issues. So I was like, oh, this is a perfect opportunity for me to know what it's like to have a mother. So I let her come move with me. And I don't speak to her anymore. Like, sometimes she'll text me and I'll respond, but I feel like they made their choice and I made mine. Mm-hmm. I lived my whole life without parents. Yeah. And so again, I'm 40 and
honestly, how you feel about that, like, just growing up though? Who raised you though? Like, who raised you first of all?
A great aunt raised us, and she was horrible. Her and her sisters were absolutely horrible to me and my brother. My brother got it the worst.
You said you and your brother got it the worst? My brother got it the worst. Okay.
We both got it, but he got it the worst. The abuse was, a lot of people in the family never even knew that it was happening because they had this facade where they just made it seem like this was just, this loving family.
Normal word, yeah.
No, man, it was horrible. Like, some of the worst things that's ever happened to me in my life happened in that house that we were raised in. My brother, he would get in trouble for everything. My brother knew my mother and my father more than I did because he's 2 years older than me. So he actually knew who they were. I didn't really know who they were when I came here to Cleveland. So obviously him being 4 or 5 years old, you take a kid away from their parent, or a kid is separated from their parent, they want their mother. They don't know these people. My brother didn't know these people here in Cleveland. So obviously, kid, 4 or 5, rebel. He's bad. And he just automatically got labeled as bad. So anything he did, I mean, like the punishments were just brutal, and to the point where when we were teenagers, you know, we would get stripped naked, beat. I remember one time my brother, somebody lit the hamper on, like the clothes hamper on fire, right. And it was just a little mark of like where you could see it happen. But my brother was getting in trouble for so much stuff that they made me take the blame for it. And then my aunt and her sisters, they came over and they turned the fire on the stove, and they all like held me down, like all got around me, and then two of them had my hands, and they was like trying to force my hand down into the fire. And to the point where I believed it so much that I thought I actually set the fire. But we had, after that, I'm thinking like, okay, that's the punishment. We went to a family reunion or some like barbecue or something like that.
Right.
And they took me and my brother in the bathroom. While everybody's all downstairs laughing, joking, having a good time, eating, congregating, we get taken into the bathroom. They strip us naked, put us in a tub, and just beat the fuck out of us with whatever they had. And then it's like we got to go back downstairs and just smile. My brother ended up going to jail. He's dead now. He got killed in Boston. But when he was in prison, he was in a hole a lot. But he always said it didn't affect him because of the punishments that we had, or he had, when we were kids, prepared him for it. He would have to like sit in dark bathrooms for hours, just sit there in a dark bathroom. Or they would strip him naked and make him sit on the back porch in the cold for hours for whatever.
And then this is why y'all at the house, like your auntie, that would make them make him do this, or
yeah, or she would tell people that we did stuff, and her sisters would come over and they would just inflict whatever punishment that they had on us. One time, my brother, we were outside. This is when we had first seen the movie, The Golden Child with Eddie Murphy, and the little kid, he would always eat a leaf, and the leaf would like give him like power, whatever. I can't remember exactly, but they would always eat the leaf. So me and my brother was outside playing like we were the Golden Child. So I ate a leaf, nothing happened, and I tricked him, and I gave him a leaf that had like bird poop on it. I know it sounds terrible, but so anyhow, he ate it, and I started laughing, so he spit it all out. So he's spitting it out, spitting everything on the ground, and my cousin comes out, and my aunt comes out, and my cousin comes out, and they see my brother spitting on the ground, and he like, you spitting on my auntie's yard, and he was trying to tell them what I did, but they didn't care. They made him pick up everything he spit out with a stick, eat it over again, get on his hands and knees, and say, "Thank you, King," to my cousin.
Let me, not to cut you off, what do you think your family members was, what was that, your aunts at the time, you said?
Great aunts.
Great aunts. What trauma do you think they was going through, or what possessed them to do that? Because, they have to have some form of trauma in their past to want to do that to you guys.
I heard they had traumas.
Because that's wild, like very wild. Did they have kids?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like people that people that like abuse,
they kids didn't get that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm guessing that's your mom's sisters, right?
No, they're great aunts.
Oh, great aunts.
So they're my mother's aunts.
Because I'm just trying to process, like, what would possess someone to do things like that? Because most of the time, people that do that have shit done to them when they was a kid.
I feel like it's gonna make you or break you, right? Because like I've never even whooped my kids before. My kids are great. Like I think I was blessed to have children like that. Like the kids that I have, they've never been in trouble, never been in streets, like never so much have even gotten a detention, let alone suspended. So I've never whooped my kids. I never did the things to my kids that was done to me. So it's definitely a choice. Like it's that lifestyle is either going to make you or it's going to break you. Either you're going to do that to the people or you're not going to do it to people. And I feel like I don't know what happened to them. They're not here to tell me what happened to them. I don't care what happened to them because we were two children sitting here. We didn't ask to be brought here. We didn't know nothing about here. And I feel there's all these stories that were told to us, like, maybe she was angry because when we came, her relationship with the man that she was with ended or took the anger out on us, whatever the case may be. I don't know what the answer is, but we went through hell. I mean, like, we went through hell, and we never spoke about it. we told our father, back when our father would visit like every other year, we told him, but he was so.
He was in
on whatever he was on.
He was in and out, yeah.
With that being said, have you ever seek therapy?
Yes, I've gotten therapy a lot over. Even when I was a kid, I was getting therapy. Me getting therapy as an adult is the reason why after I let my mother move in, I made her move out. Therapy is just like, what do you do? You don't have to do this.
It just brought back like a lot of.
Yeah, living with her was hard because I knew I wasn't over it, and I realized when she was living with me that it's
not gonna work. Yeah, it's not gonna work.
Like this, I'm forcing it. The kids wasn't a fan of it. I wasn't a fan of it.
You feel like at that point you was just trying to just build a rapport or a relationship with
I was trying to, yeah, but then it didn't work out, and therapy helped me realize that I didn't want to do it. I hated it. I hated every minute of it. Me going to therapy is the reason why I don't really have a relationship with him now, because everyone always likes to say, well, they're still your mother. They're still your father. They're still your parents.
That's the cliche for sure.
It's still your family. I chose my family. The family that I have, whether that's friends, cousins, whoever, my children, like I choose who my family is. I don't care about that blood stuff.
How you feel like not having a relationship with your parents? How do you feel like that affects the way that you approach relationships now, whether it be friends or dealing with men?
So I'm very critical on loyalty. If I feel for 1 minute that the loyalty is gone from the relationship, like I'm not big on forgiveness. I ain't gonna hold you. Like,
say it again.
I'm not big on forgiveness.
Okay.
Once I feel like you did me dirty, and like we could fall out about things. Once I feel like you intentionally did me wrong or did me dirty, then I'm quick to end it. I don't. You know how some people will work stuff out, or the whole idea of like it's still your mother,
once
it's still your father, or it's still your brother. Once I'm done with a relationship, I'm done with the relationship.
Right.
There's no going back for me. Even if we can move on and just be cool, there's no. I'm done with you. Right. So if I feel like you hurt me, betrayed me, or you were disloyal to me, or the genuine nature of our relationship is no longer there, that's that. And that's only how I feel. Like I have to feel that way, even if that's not true. But if I feel that way, then I'm not too forgiving when it comes to it. But I have some friendships that I've had for a long time. My best friend, we've been friends since 1997. And I think we fell out one time, and it was just because I called her stupid, and then she called me something. So I think based off of my life, the hand that I was dealt, me not having any parents, me not being raised with my parents, me coming up in an abusive household, and me being a single mother, I think everyone had like this idea of how I would be as a mother. We single black women get labeled a lot when it comes to single black mothers.
Single black women get mothers. We get labeled. Well, y'all get labeled the most though.
Yes,
we get labeled the worst.
Yes, absolutely, because people feel like we're raising our sons to be feminine. We're not teaching them how to be men.
I wouldn't say that. I feel like the stigma is like single mom, household, multiple kids. He ain't gonna grow to be shit.
Well, I put it like this: I have a son. I have 1 boy and 3 girls, and then there's me. So there's 4 women in the house, and then there's my son. His dad. For the
record, this nigga don't smile.
But he's a very friendly person. He don't.
This
smile
nigga
in
don't
pictures.
smile. Her son, yeah. Her son.
He don't smile in pictures, but his dad was the main one who felt like, my son was going to grow up to be gay, or he was going to be feminine, or whatever the case may be. Because
his dad felt like that.
Yes, that was one of our arguments that we will always have, because his dad moved away to Atlanta.
I remember that.
And my son stayed here with me, and he wanted my son to go with him. And because I didn't grow up with parents, I've never taken my kids away from anyone. I always gave them the choice to grandmother, grandfather, whoever. Like, you make the choice to be in that person's life. I'm not going to take it away from you. But I would never move out of the state if your dad lives here, I would never move out the state just because I want to move out the state. So my son had a choice to go there or stay here, and he chose to stay here. And I think obviously with the hand that I was dealt, that will always be people's argument, you know, because I wasn't raised with parents, I didn't know how to be one, or because he was coming up in a house full of women that he was going to be feminine, like a woman. But it didn't turn out to be that way at all. My son he's never been in trouble. Like I said, he's never been in trouble. He's never been arrested. He could easily be a Kia boy out here, but he's in college. He played sports since he was 5, football, track, basketball. Like, he's made it very easy on me. All of them have. But to raise a boy into a man, I think a lot of people didn't think that I could do it. So, like I said, my brother got, my kids never met my brother. My brother got killed before my kids could meet him. Plus, he lived in Boston. My father lives in Boston. I'm only close to a couple of cousins here. So once his dad moved away, and his dad and his grandfather, his grandmother, and his uncle, they all moved to Atlanta. So he really didn't, well, he didn't have any in the home. I would say this, he did have them with sports, his coaches and things of that nature. He did have a lot of male figures around him. So I do have one cousin named Ben, and my kids call him Uncle Ben, and he was like he still is, like, he still plays a major role in their life, but that was really it for the most part. But I think the sports, the coaches, and all of that stuff really played a role in his life as well. I got a lot of love for a lot of his coaches, especially he went to Lutheran East. Like, I got a lot of love for the athletic director there, his basketball coach there, even his football coach. Like, I have no complaints there. Play AAU as well. So when he could travel, he did. He would spend summers there. Like, he's going there now for Christmas.
Yeah, so he about to leave like next week or something, then, right?
Yeah, like, I just picked him up.
That's definitely next week for sure.
He leave on Tuesday. Yeah.
What was holidays like for you growing up?
So the house that I lived in had a lot of people in it. Like, it was my aunt, and then it was her 3 sons, and then it was their girlfriends, and then it was my brother, and then 3 of my cousins. Sheesh. And my aunt babysat a lot of people's kids, so the house was always full. So there was holidays celebrated, you know, but it wasn't.
So you grew up around. So you, my bad.
Not to cut you off, bro.
No, go ahead, bro.
Not to say what Christmas, I should say.
Did we get stuff for Christmas? Yeah, we got stuff for Christmas. So my father would, every year, my father would send us a box with, like, stuff that he stole from wherever. Nothing in the.
You say he stole it?
He did. Nothing in the box made sense.
How the fuck you know that?
Because my father's he's a klepto.
Okay.
Yeah, you just know.
Type shit, yeah.
I mean, I had straw, like McDonald's straws in the box.
Yeah, that is anything.
Bone Thugs and Harmony CD, which, we never got to listen to it. But I had, like, red silk sheets at, like, 8 years old, and, like, a house telephone, a Valentine's Day card.
Just random ass shit. Valentine's Day on Christmas.
I had some family in Boston that would send me and my brother stuff all the time, and we would get a couple gifts here. It was weird. Like, all holidays were celebrated, primarily from
that's what I was gonna say.
Her son's wives, her son's girlfriends and wives, like, really put the holiday spirit in the house.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, you had the structure, just like not the.
That's why no one thought that the things that was happening to us was happening to us. Even her sons didn't necessarily know what was happening. It would always be when they weren't in that. So eventually it got to the point, as everyone got older, her youngest son went to college. Her oldest son, you know, he was a Marine. And, you know,
now
was
people
older.
starting to go their own way.
Yeah, and so no one knew about the abuse that was going on in that house. And I didn't even start talking about it until, like, I was in my 30s. We did tell a couple people in Boston. Nothing ever really happened with that, except for just, like, drama, like he says, she says type stuff. But holidays were celebrated, you know, but that was, like, they didn't know. Like, a holiday was celebrated, and then you get your ass beat. Like, later that night, yeah.
Shit, yeah.
it was just a lot of things that went on in that house that a lot of people didn't know about. Even the people who lived there at times didn't know that some of these things were happening.
Would you say that's where you got like your hustle and your drive from, like to never?
That's crazy, bro. That was my next question.
Go
bro.
back to that. And
Yeah.
that's why you work and go so hard for your kids.
Yeah, I started working when I was 13 because I was tired of hand-me-downs. So I started working at St. Martin de Porres, the Catholic Diocese Community Center, like right there on Lakeview.
Oh, right, yeah, with a red cross street from Tops.
So I was 13,
That
so I
nigga
was
said
finally.
Tops.
Yeah, that's what it was.
It was finest back in the day. Finest, yeah, no, for sure.
I had got a summer job at 13. You could get summer jobs
that's
to that.
where my first summer job was at.
Yeah, like YOU. I think it was Youth Opportunities Unlimited. So I got a job at St. Martin de Porres, and that's where I actually started meeting some of my longest friends because they had this program called Group, and I think it was like for a high potential at-risk kids, trying to like get y'all on a better path.
You used to fuck with the churches with the free lunches and shit too, though, back in the day?
Always.
Yeah,
listen, that's another reason.
No,
like,
sure.
we stayed in church. I was raised in church. I don't go to church. I don't even believe in God.
You don't believe in God?
No. And I don't. And it's a topic I don't talk about because, it's like as soon as people hear that, it's like, oh my God, you're like a trouble. But I lost a friendship over not believing in God. And I hear that from people too. I didn't believe in him. I was going to church every day. We was going to church in the summer. We was going to church on Wednesday, Bible study,
I want to ask you a direct question though. Do you not believe in God because of what happened to you growing up?
Part of it. When I got old enough,
So that's an influence of why you don't believe in God.
it started off that way. And then once I got older and just could never get any of my questions answered, and I just thought it was.
You don't feel like that's kind of a more so of an influence thing, more of a kind of a belief thing. Like,
No, I don't understand why we have to believe in it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like in the black community, it's like you have to be Christian,
it's forced on, yeah.
and it's like why, like why do I have to believe in this person in order for me to like walk a righteous path? Like, why do I have to believe that this person is real in order for me to live right and do right by people? And I feel like I personally feel like I'm a great person. I don't feel like I don't lie, I don't cheat, I don't do these things to people. But some Christians are some of the most horrible people that you've ever met before, and they are firm believers. And before you knew I didn't believe in God, you were perfectly fine with who I was, right? And then the minute you found out that I don't believe in God, now it's just like, oh, like.
Not believers, they could be preachers. Not as far as like literal preachers, but they could be just talking the gospel and talking God. But if you doing what you're doing, that don't make you a believer, though.
No, it doesn't. But there's not an ounce in me that even remotely believes in anything that's in that book.
Let me ask, okay, so are you more spiritual than like religious? Like,
so when I went to college, I had took a religion class because I wanted to understand this more, like finally have my own
idea of it.
Yeah, like really, like not what was forced on me, but now I can choose to believe, and I could choose to believe what I want to believe, whatever religion I want to go to. And I didn't like any of them, honestly. If there was one that I liked the most out of all of them was Buddhism. I like their practices more, but I'm never going to be a Buddhist. Like I still drink. I'm never going to be a monk. Like I still drink. I still have sex. I still, do things.
All that's in the Bible too, though.
Right, but I'm talking about me taking comfort in that. Religion.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Like I'm saying, I take comfort in those practices, but I'm not one. Like I'm not going to say I'm Buddhist. I'm not going to become a Buddhist, but I feel like you can still be a good person and you can still do the things that are expected of you as a good human being and not believe in what everybody believes in.
Like that doesn't define you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also I'm big on unlearning everything that was taught to you as a kid, even when it comes to the idea of marriage. Like, yeah, marriage is cool. I don't like it. I'm not saying I'm for it. I'm not saying I'm against it. But everybody does the same exact things. Like, everyone goes by the same exact blueprint when it comes to life. and everyone pretty much usually gets like the same outcomes.
Really, everyday life, like the beliefs, like what you practice, how you live, like everybody believes in the same thing,
and they do the same things. And then like, are you happy? Like, are you happy with that? Or
I believe not 100%.
Or can you choose your own happiness? Like, can I still be in a relationship with someone and never get married to them and still be happy? Or can I marry this person and still live in 2 separate homes and be happy? Or like,
because society make you feel like you gotta marriage validates your relationship, how y'all feel.
Right. And I feel like I don't want to keep living the same blueprint that everybody lives all the time and does all the time.
Your way type shit.
I've been in relationships. I done lived in relationships. I done been engaged, called it off 2 months before the wedding, all of that stuff. And I wasn't happy with that. Where I'm at right now, honestly, I never ever want to live with anyone ever again. I feel like I can marry you and you can have your place, I can have my place. We could be together every day.
Separate households.
But the minute you get on my nerve, I think that one of the reasons that relationships don't last is because there's no separation when there's a problem arising. Like, we're arguing and we're still in the same house. Now I'm irritated because you walk past the refrigerator in a way and you bump me, or like,
this nigga breathing.
Yeah, so when we're dating and we're mad at each other, we go back to our regular homes, and now I miss you. Now I want to see you, and now come on, let's work it out, But when we're married, it's just like I'm still
seeing them every day. That's why I say people that live together and work together, it ain't gonna work.
Oh my God, that's worse.
That ain't gonna work.
That's too much.
Yeah, because you seeing them at work and at home, you never get a chance to miss somebody. Never. And that's what create the relationships, the urge of missing somebody. You feel what I'm saying? Even, like you said, even if it's for like 4 hours. Get away, get out the house, come back. Nah, I miss you. It never happened. But when nobody,
what's crazy, bro? When I was younger, bro, I used to. I felt like I wanted to be with whoever I was dealing with all the time. But now I be on some, and I like to operate in space.
You like niggas like they peace.
Yeah, that's I like what to operate in space, bro, for sure, 100%.
Yeah, and I think too much time around. I don't think no 2 people should be together that much all the time ever. No one, not even mother and child, best friends, roommates, because at some point you need time to breathe. So even like a mother with her children, look at all those parents, women, fathers, men, whoever who kill their children. Not saying that they was never going to do it, but sometimes people come to their breaking point where they just need a break. Whether that be in their relationship, whether that be with children, whether that be in a friendship. And sometimes if you don't get that break when you need that break, then something bad typically happens. And
it's a lot of moms out here that got 3, 4 kids. They be like, man, I just need a fucking break. Like, I done read on Facebook, like, it's a true story, bro.
No, for sure.
I done read on Facebook, man, a chick that was like, man, sometimes I would rather be in jail just to have some me time type shit. Like,
yep.
That's a crazy headspace to be in. Like, I can't.
Some people don't have help.
Though, but I can't imagine that, though. Like,
some people don't have help. And I used to be there.
That part, though. That'd be the part.
I used to be in that space where I had my son and my daughter are almost kind of like Irish twins, but like my son is 18, my daughter's 17. So I was this new mom. I got pregnant with my son when I was in my 2nd year of college. And I wasn't raised with my mother or my father, and the example that I was raised with was a horrible example of a mother, so I didn't know what I was doing. And it was hard. Like, having 2 kids at a young age was hard, and there would be times where you literally want to, like, feel like you're losing your mind, and you just need somebody to help you. You just need a break.
Right.
So I feel like that with anything. We can be in a relationship and live separately, and it could actually work. And people are like, oh, you just want to do that because you want to cheat. People cheat living together every day.
Right.
You cheat with the man in the house. Like, you cheating with his best friend downstairs. Like, and he fast asleep upstairs. Like, you can do what you want to do, but I don't think it's about that. It's just about whatever works for me and you.
Right.
And I feel like that with religion. Like, I don't talk about it because everyone spends the entire conversation trying to convince me why I should believe in it. Or why I should. It's just like macaroni and cheese. I hate macaroni and cheese. And people, instead of just accepting it, they want to tell me how their grandmother make it.
That, though. They'll pull your card for that, though.
Yeah, sure. I'm not a fan of soul food, for real. blame it on childhood traumas. But
That's
everyone
crazy, too.
want to tell me that it's because I haven't had their grandmamas. Like, I don't like it. It's noodles and cheese. I don't like it. Like, I don't want it. I don't care how you dress it up. It's cheese and noodles. Like, I don't want no cheese and noodles.
What you got coming up next though? Like, what you got on the flow? Like, what's next for you?
So 2190. Now that my 90 days is over, like I finally started talking about it, started telling people about it. I'm launching that, like going into that. My time in the nightlife is coming.
You breaking it on our platform though? Like this your first time? Okay, that's
yes.
What's up,
20. Well, for the ones who didn't know, there was a couple people who knew about it, but 2190 Detox Cafe.
You said that.
You know, I had my close friends who knew about it.
Okay.
People knew that when I was choosing not to drink for 90 days, they knew why I was doing it. They knew that there was, and I say all the time, I'm very strategic. Everything that I do is strategy. So I knew that like I said earlier, I knew I was going to walk people down with me. I knew I was going to talk about it. I knew I was going to lead you all the way up until when I drink again. Social experiment. I wanted to see was people really going to come back to the bar once I started drinking again. And yeah, they did.
Hold on, wait. I know y'all fucking with the episode. I got one thing to say, man. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share our shit. This is the Untouchable Billionaires podcast. Let's get back to the episode.
Okay, I got a lot of Instagram pages. My main Instagram page is Anji_Bella1. So that's ANJI_Bella1. That's where all the magic happens. Then I got Quarantine Cocktails. That's one of my businesses. I have 2190 Detox Cafe. That's another business. Then I have the Beauty Chronicles. That's the third business. And then I have Dine and Drink AJ, which is my clean eating page. But you can find all of those on Anji Bella. You just go to Anji Bella and then you'll find all my pages.